So the total is 0.23 acres.
Okay.
It's probably an old platted lots back there. Maybe little lot back there.
It's kind of across the street, kind of on the corner of where it's either, I should have driven by to see, it's either Kangaroo or BP service station there. It's, it's a commercial kind of intersection there.
You said C2, but you meant C1?
Yes.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. Let me see if there's anybody else that wants to speak on this case.
Okay.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak on this case? Don't have too many people here, so I wasn't sure. So, this is the corner of Indian Springs Road and Highway 41. So just a vacant lot there. It's commercial across the street to the gas station, which is on the corner, the other corner. And then we did rezone a piece across 41 just to the south a little bit, that they're going to build another store on, I believe, pretty soon.
A few months back.
Last year before.
Was that C1? Did it go C1 as well?
Yes. Next door to where that, then the barbecue store is on the other side.
That's all clear in that. Oh, good.
Y'all have any questions of the applicant or any?
Motion.
Basically, you want to go from a R1 to C1 and then put it up for sale?
Yes.
There are buffer requirements that are from C1 to R1 that would be required. James, aren't those about 50-foot buffer?
It is 50 feet.
50 feet, so that would be required on the south and east sides of the property, for the record. If it is granted.
I make a motion to honor Mr. Payne's request from R1 to C1.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to approve the request, subject to the UDC regulations of the buffer. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Now, this case, and the last case tonight, will go to the Board of Commissioners for final approval, and that will be February meeting. It's on your application, it'll be 220 in this room.
Okay.
So I would probably say come back to that meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Next case.
The next case is case number 1569-24. Jack and Presta Clark. Property is located on tax map 74, parcel 100A, 4825 Salem Valley Road. They're requesting a variance.
Go ahead.
I'm Presta Clark, and this is my husband Jack, and we're here to ask for a variance on a private road, but I just want to tell you a little about our family, which is why we're doing this. But so we moved to this area about 3 years ago, following our kids, our adult kids who moved to the Chattanooga area. But we have 4 kids. We have a daughter who is an ICU nurse at Memorial. Her husband's a fire chief at Chattanooga Fire Department, and they have 2 little boys. We have a son who's a senior firefighter for Chattanooga Fire Department, and he's married to an ER nurse at Memorial, at Erlanger. and a son who works in logistics downtown. And then we have a daughter, Morgan, who's an esthetician over in Ottawa at a medical spa. And she's the reason or she's who we're trying to help. But Morgan's a single mom, and she has a 4-year-old little girl, Everly, whose daddy passed away. COVID. She rents a house, an older house in Springer Road.
Thank you.
Anyway, we wanted to try to help her build a house on our property. So that they have a more stable environment. We can help them more. And in December, her landlord told her that they're going to sell her house. We started this process about a year ago, and we went through, we had an appraisal done, we had a soil test done, and it passed. And then we were getting a building permit, which got stopped because of the road, the private road ordinance. But then this December, when her landlord told her they were going to sell her house, we decided to go ahead and try to put variance.
That's fine.
The variance was turned down because of the fact that you could only have 4 tracks attaching to a private road, and that's why we're here to talk to you. We appreciate you letting us come talk to you, and as you can tell, we're both a little nervous. We don't like public speaking. I almost hired a lawyer to come and do my speaking for me. So I went to a lawyer's office uptown, and I went in and I inquired about the rates. And the lawyer said, $250 for 3 questions. That's kind of steep, isn't it? He said, yeah. Now what's your 3rd question? I didn't hire that attorney. I decided to come to speak to you fine people on my own. I can't walk from one room in the house to the other without trying to think, why did I go in there? So I've got a few notes here I'll have to look at. But as Preston said, we bought the property 3 years ago. The northern boundary of that property is a private easement. It allows the property owners behind us access to that property. The road is a little over a half mile from Salem Valley to where we built our house. So we call our driveway a half mile long. And it's, Preston, if you'll show them, got a couple of pictures I'd like you to look at here. Again, the Uniform Development Code limits it to 4 parcels attaching to a private road. We're asking you to give us a variance on that so we can build a house for our daughter. Now, why was the restriction only 4? The good people that wrote the code way back then had to come up with a number. It could have been 3 or 6, but for some reason they said 4. The restriction is a good one. It limits the amount of traffic on a private road, and we all know that's a good thing. It keeps somebody from taking a 10-acre tract, putting a road down the middle of it, dividing it up into 20 building lots, and that's selling 20 lots. And can you imagine what that private road would look like when all 20 houses were built? It's still a private road. The county's not responsible for it. The homeowners are going to call and say, we can't get down our road, got ruts and holes in it. The county's just going to say, it's not our responsibility. Don't call us. You bought on a gravel road, you got to take care of it. So, again, the ordinance is good. It's necessary. It needs to be there. But I want to tell you why I would like a variance to change that 4 number to 5 just for us.
the people, the good people that wrote that ordinance way back then, again, they selected 5 tracts of land, but they also built in a certain degree of flexibility. And that flexibility is shown tonight by us being here at a variance meeting. We want to tell you our particular set of circumstances and see if we can ask you to give us a variance so we can build a house. So, when we bought the land, I had a lawyer look into the private road, and he said that deed goes back to the 1940s, and yes, it's a public easement, although it's a private road. And again, it's like a half mile from the main road out to our house. As you can see by the first picture there, and I don't know if you can see this right, what I'm showing them is this picture right here. The road is just a single gravel road. There's trees growing on both sides of it. If you were going in and you met a car coming out, you couldn't pass the car. One of you had to back up some distance. So we decided that we couldn't have that. We decided to widen the road. We took trees off of one side for about 20 feet. And if you look at page 2, that will show you the condition of the road at that time and the fact that we're taking trees off the side of the road. And page 3 shows the same thing before and after. It's where we're taking trees off the side of the road and how bad the condition of the road was. And we widened it, we graded the side of the road, we planted grass for a half mile. She and I strode hay for 2 weeks, it seems like, out there to cover up the seeds, but that's just something we did. As you can see by the after pictures on there, plenty of grass on the side of the road. The road's got plenty of gravel on it, it's wide enough where if you meet somebody, you don't have to back up, you can pass at any given time. The turkeys and the deer also enjoy the extra area there and the feed that we planted. The next thing is, well, we fixed the road up, it's in great shape, but it's not a one-time thing. You can't just fix it up and let it go. It has to have perpetual maintenance. I understand that. I'm trying to convince you that I'm going to be the one to take care of the perpetual maintenance. If you turn to the last page, it shows a picture of a skid steer. I bought that to help with building the house, and I bought it to help with road maintenance. You look at me and you think, well, you know, I'm not a spring chicken. What's going to happen when I'm gone? Who's going to take care of the road then? Well, all of my adult children know how to drive that skid steer. In fact, my 11-year-old grandson, he can drive it better than I do. I let him help me all the time with it. So, we are going to maintain the road, and we appreciate you letting us be here tonight. I don't know that there's any other reason why you wouldn't grant the variance other than tearing up the road with one more vehicle out there. By the way, the land right now, there's 350 acres behind us. Deer hunters lease that. They come in a few times a year. There's an elderly lady that lives down the road. She lives by herself. She goes out maybe once a week. Other than that, it's just us on the road. So, promise you we'll take care of the road if you'll let us build our daughter a house.
We may have some questions in a minute. Before you step down it.
Very hard to hear. So.
Okay, we may have some questions here in a minute. Let me just see if there's anybody else that wants to speak, and then we've got some questions.
Okay.
There's not too many people here. Does anybody want to speak on this case? Nobody out there does. So.
Speak on her behalf. Okay, sorry.
I got a couple of questions and an explanation for a few things. Now, I understand the situation. And we have been very generous on more than 4 lots on a private road that involves large tracts of land. You know, so I'm going to tell you that up front in the past. So we try to treat everybody the same. I can't read your survey. It's downsized so much. Is the road, is it, you might come up here, I can point it out too. your road where all these numbers are, what's the width of that road? Or I'm saying the easement or the right of way or whatever, you said there's a perpetual access through there. How big is that? Is that
I
20,
don't
30,
know that I
40
can give you
feet?
any exact dimensions. I know that our property line goes to the center line, and that's why all those numbers are on it. It's just something the surveyor does to say that's the center line of that road.
Okay.
So we own half the road, but the whole road is the easement into the property, and it seems like it's like 20 feet or something, but I'm just guessing. I don't really know.
I didn't know it. Usually a survey shows it, and I can't read this small as that print. But that was my number one question, because our requirements for to ever be upgraded to a county road are 50 foot, okay, which would be 25 foot from the center line your way, 25 foot the other way. And I'm sure there's so much property back in here that, I know you're the only one who lives right back there, well, other than the lady all the way in the back, you said. I remember that place as a kid back in.
You remember Wolfman?
Yeah, oh, yeah, you real well. He just passed away. He just passed away,
He just
yeah.
passed away.
And, he been back there back when he used to have lions and tigers in it. They all got loose.
They're still there.
So, but somebody else will probably want access sooner or later back in here. And so if we grant variances, we need the road right of way, in my opinion, and everybody else here can conjecture, to be, if you're willing to provide the 25s and whoever's on the other side of the road is going to provide the 25, whenever they come in here asking for something, we create something that's usable and functional for everybody in the long run. You know, if it was ever to be upgraded to a county road, instead of being on 20 foot, you know, because 20 foot's not big enough for much of anything. So, that being said, I know you don't own the other side of this road. There's probably 2 or 3 different property owners. I can't read that. But if they were to come in, we would ask the same thing of them. And so you slowly, progressively create what you need in the long run for the best benefit of the county and everybody here. And you get to do what you want to do with yours too. You know, so that's my opinion. That was all I had on that issue. Do y'all have anything y'all want to add on that, or do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, to have the appropriate amount, I mean, it'd just be better to have that on both sides there.
Yeah, over time. I know you can't compel your neighbors to say yes at this moment, but.
Worst come to worst, we do it all on our side of the road. We have plenty of room.
But if you're willing to, then we will compel the neighbors when they come in here wanting the same thing, if you follow what I'm saying. That's how it works, and we've done in the past. Because it's to the benefit of the intent of the ordinance to have it where it can be upgraded after you do. But the rule was created on a private road with 4 lots to do exactly what you said. It was to keep somebody from taking a 10-acre tract and making a bunch of lots on it, substandard roads that was a liability to everybody in the long run. And it has helped prevent that. And we also increased it. It used to be 1 acre on a private road. It got increased to 5 acres on those 4 lots are required on 5-acre lots on 50-foot access. So your family though, so you don't have to give your daughter 5 acres to do that, to accomplish that. So you can give your children 1 acre in an A1 zone and not have to do it. So it accommodates it, but I'm trying to set the stage for future whatever, because you do have some neighbors that own a lot of property out there. You just said there's 350 acres there, and then there's whoever your neighbor's building a house over on this side, he owns back there that road too. Kind of behind, I don't know who that is, but I know this area real well, so I just I just live over the hill on the other side, Cherokee Valley side. So that being said, would y'all be willing to do the 25-foot off center line easement to get in?
Certainly.
So that everybody, and whoever, we've been approached at the zoning office, people looking to buy that 350 acres, it's, actively for sale over there. and they all come in asking the same question that you're asking. So that's why we would compel them to donate 25 foot on their side too. That way, everybody gets 50 foot in the end. Rob?
We're certainly willing to do that.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Y'all got any more questions?
Is your house in the far back or is yours this one in the front right here?
All right, here's the drive, if I'm looking at this right.
Is that your house back there?
Yeah, that's our house right there.
That's your neighbor's.
That's the neighbors, and we're right in the curve in
I
there,
got you.
right, that's where we want to,
I got you.
give our daughter an acre to build.
Looks like your picture showed power box. I guess you put power down.
Down that road.
We did, we put power all the way down with water, of course, water also.
Yes.
It's a long way.
That's a long way back again. That's not cheap, they charge
That's
for
not
that.
cheap, that's not cheap, you don't want to know it. It's about the same thing that skid steer costs.
Okay.
Actually, that is the house.
Yeah,
The
right.
last page.
I got you. That's, I see what that's house.
I went back to Wolfman's house not too long ago, and you got a beautiful place there. Thank you. That's really nice.
Thank you. She's responsible for all that design and everything.
I figured she might.
Yeah.
I call it a barn dominion, or, but it's one of the better looking ones I've seen like that.
Burn Shamrock.
Wolfman, is that, I just always thought
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Burn County.
Okay, any questions?
You see.
Any more statements, or?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just wanted to go on the record, when they came down to the office, I did tell them this was the perfect example of what a variance would be.
Oh, it is.
So I did encourage them.
I mean, when you count his land and all the 4 owners out there, you're talking 500-600 acres of land total, and 4's not gonna get it in the long run.
Yes, sir.
But if we provide access for the long run, it'll work out.
Yes, sir.
How do we approach that tonight? What we got before, just go with what we've got, is all we can do tonight, right?
If he's willing to do his part.
So we have to amend, we have to amend it.
Well, we're just,
Are we
variance
just
is granted with a stipulation that
stipulated in the?
he grants 25 foot from center line of road, like you said, you own the center line, it's 25 foot on your side, would be
So we would have that taken care of.
an easement, and then whoever comes in on the other side of the road, will let them do the same thing, then we've got 50.
So I would make that motion if we're ready for motion. Case number 1569-23, I make a motion that we grant the variance, with the stipulation that there's a 25-foot easement allowed down the side of your property for access, future access, however that works itself out.
$25 foot off center line, or what the survey showed.
Right. Will turn into a center line.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? And you can just get your surveyor, change out the plat, turn it into him, and you can proceed forward.
Okay, thank you very much, appreciate your time.
Sorry for the delays.
Thank you.
We understand, sir. Yes.
The next case is case number 1570-24, Robert and Ona Hamilton. Tax map 48, parcel 33, 98 Dalrymple Road from A1 to R1.
Good evening.
I don't know anything about this stuff, so, my dad's got dementia, and I've done a lot of things here lately that I don't know how to do, so. But, my mom and dad want to sell all this property. The, point, 43 acres with the house on it, my son is buying, from my mom. And then we're gonna put the rest of it for sale. And, we didn't understand why it was, well, I think we understand now, but it was part of a bigger farm. And then Daddy bought it in pieces. He bought 3 different times, and then made it into one section. And, it shows that house is a garage. Well, Daddy turned it into a house. And there is, my, nephew and his wife and family live there. And they rented it from my mom and dad. Well, mom and dad was starting to need some money. And mom can't even write a check. That's how she is. She's never done anything. Daddy's always done it all. And now she's turned it over to me to take care of this, to change it into an R1 and then to sell the whole property. Except, like I say, my son's buying that one. That way we can keep our.
Yeah, keeping it as a rental house.
And keeping, my mom said she wanted to sell it all, but she wanted my nephew to stay there as long as she was alive, and that's why he bought it, because they couldn't. So, that's why we're trying to turn it into an R1. His daddy didn't have it done years ago when he did it. I don't even know if he knew that he was supposed to.
Well, there was a time when A1 was 1 acre lots, and not 3 acres where it is 3 acres. Does your dad live next door to this piece?
No, he lives on Burning Road.
Oh, okay.
But right now, the property is in mine and his name, we had to change it over. So my mom wanted to do that because she didn't want to deal with nothing, so, that's why we did that. It does show here Robert Nolan owns it, but now I'm Robert Jr. and this is my son Daniel. And
We got the deed changed.
yeah, the deed's changed.
There's a total of 3 acres, 3 acres.
It was 3.09 acres, and then they wanted to, section off that house, and it turned out to 0.43 acres. And then the remaining acres would be 2.66 acres that we will sell, after we get it turned into residential. That's just the reason we're trying to change it, is that's what we were told we were supposed to do by the 3 people, we've been talking to.
I was looking at your soil report you have here.
Yes.
The lot for is this for the existing house septic tank?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's actually another septic tank on the property.
Okay.
It's over, well, you can see where it says that gravel drive, that is actually their property. But you can also see where it says drive used by additional owners, no easement found. That way the people that live in behind back there can get in there. Yeah. And then that will be the driveway in, that was the original driveway into this property. And there was a house trailer sitting, well, almost even with that property.
Yeah, about even with the house.
Yeah. And, there is, power over there, and there is a septic tank over there. But this house had a septic tank, but according to the county, they didn't know nothing about it, so that's why we had to get the soil samples.
And then we had Larry Black came and all the, check the septic tank, everything was good on it.
anybody have a question on this guy? There's only down to one person back there, back. One, okay. I got a question, James, here, y'all stay right here. On the application, are you familiar, it's just a diagram from the soil report. We just need to make sure the health department's good with it.
They are. I've spoken with Brian Trundle in regards to this property, and, he told me that the soil's on that other lot, that in that area right there, they're all good.
They're all-
Yeah, when we had the soil sample done around the house,
Uh-huh.
I had him go out to the middle of the property.
Uh-huh.
You gotta just check that, he's like, I'll check it to you just for, we didn't pay him to check it on that, but he said the soil come out great over there.
As long, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Brian,
It's
Brian's,
just-
and there's plenty of room for repair as well, in case they needed to have a repair area or something like that, there's plenty of room left over.
That's good red dirt. The, this was basically a rezone anyways, and you'll have to get the health department and everybody sign off on the final plat if you want to break it out. I know you submitted that, but this doesn't automatically approve that plat, well, they've got to approve it also. So,
Thought, we had the lady at the environmental, talked to her, and I talked to April, and April said that, everything was done, and then we could come down here and do this. I don't know anything else.
he says it is, but I'm just saying that it's got to sign on the final.
Oh, yes, I know, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant? This is the opposite of one of the applications we had at the last meeting. So, I tried to get 1 acres approved anyway, but it didn't work, so, I personally would make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Yeah, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Okay, you go to the board of commissioners on February 20th, I believe. Back here, need to come back. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of the regular agenda. We need to elect the chairman and the vice chairman for the next, for this year, going forward. My time's up, so I'm ready to be done for you. So,
I make a motion, Richard Johnson serve as chairman for 2024.
we have a motion for Richard Johnson to be the next chairman. Got a second? All in favor? Richard Johnson's our new chairman. Okay, entertain a motion for vice chairman.
I'll move Jeff Ball to serve as our vice chairman.
We have a motion for Jeff to be the vice chairman. Got a second? All in favor of the motion? Okay. That's it. Motion to adjourn. We can be here next meeting. I think we've got 5 or 6 cases.